Hey everybody, so I kind of just wanted to make a hopefully, quick video talking about the new Masters of the Universe teaser trailer that dropped a little bit ago. I just got done watching it and I wanted to talk about it because even though I haven't really mentioned it on here before, I am, I don't want to say a big He-Man fan, but I do really like the franchise. I grew up more so with the 2000X He-Man from the early 2000s as opposed to like the original 80s ones. I've watched the 80s one. I enjoy it for what it is, but I'm very much a fan of the 2000s one. So I kind of have an interest in this, and so I watched it, and I really want to be excited for this. I do, but given Hollywood's track record, and specifically with He-Man, because for those of you who may or may not know, what was it like? It had to have been close to like 3, 5 years or so. They did a sequel series to the original '80s show called Masters of the Universe Revelation. It was done by Kevin Smith. Had this crazy like all-star voice cast. It was really great. The voice cast, I mean, and the animation was phenomenal. But the show was garbage. The show ended up being, instead of being a He-Man show, it ended up being the Teela and Evil Lynn show. And He-Man was only in the show collectively, like the 10 episode season for, what, I think maybe 5 to 10 minutes of the whole thing. And most of it was in flashbacks. So I'm very much apprehensive, to say the least. So I watched the trailer, and it feels like they gave us the whole movie, like the whole synopsis of what's going on, because basically it starts off, we get some narration from Prince Adam talking about all this, magic and spaceships and talking cats, cringer. Where I come from, that's not fairy tales or bedtime stories, but it's real. And basically, premise of the movie is during the Great War of Eternia or whatever, Adam's mom sends him to Earth so he'll be safe and no one will find him. Okay, so we're doing Superman for the umpteenth time. Cool. And he's there this whole time for whoever knows how long. I guess we'll find out in the movie. And the whole time he's had this calling to go back home. And he finds, or someone finds, sort of power. He goes, retrieves it. That's kind of like a little King Arthur moment. And Teela comes and finds him, takes him back to Eternia, where Skeletor, I guess, is running rampant and taking over everything. And things are bad, and all the Masters of the Universe have kind of like spread across Eternia or whatever. And they have to get the band back together, and we get to see him raise the sword and say, he doesn't say by the power of Grayskull, so I don't know if he's just not going to say it or they just didn't show that for the teaser. But he puts up the sword, I have the power, and transforms, and we see him, fight a couple of the bad guys, and we fight Skeletor as well. And basically, kind of like, okay, yeah, I feel like we've seen the entire we're not seeing the entire movie, but we got basically the entire plot. And while there's a lot I do like about it, there's some things that I don't know, man. Because for one, we'll start off with the positives. The stuff on Eternia, the ships, the design of Castle Grace, the look of Skeletor, absolutely nailed Skeletor. He looks phenomenal. I hate that it's Jared Leto playing him, but he looks cool. And most of the other Eternians, He-Man, Masters of the Universe, their designs, like at least aside from Teela, I don't like Teela. It doesn't look right. They, of course, because Teela's known for having like her legs exposed, kind of like Wonder Woman's outfit, but they put her in pants. And even regards for that, it's not like, oh, I gotta see. Like, it doesn't look good. She kind of looks like she doesn't belong. She doesn't look like she fits in. So, for the most part, aside from Teela, I would say the designs for everybody and the aesthetic of Eternia looks really cool. I think the casting of the guy, I don't know his name, they have for Adam He-Man is pretty good. He looks like Adam, at least, like I said, I like Skeletor. Most of the characters look really cool. The stuff on Eternia looks really cool. I like, as a fan, I like, I can say, oh hey, that's so and so. Oh hey, that's so and so. Oh, that's that thing. So that is cool. But and I do like the tone. The tone, it definitely feels like it is maybe going to skew a little more focused towards a younger audience, which makes sense because He-Man was very much, at least the original, was very much, for like little kids. Even like, granted, it came out in like the 80s where you had like Transformers and Thundercats and all that stuff kind of was, but He-Man especially kind of felt like that. As you're a little kid, you have to listen to your parents or your teachers or your grandparents or whatever. You kind of feel like you don't have any power or control over your life. Then so you can relate to like He-Man, whereas Prince Adam, you kind of feel that way, but then he gets the power sword. He says those words, transforms into He-Man, and he becomes, an adult, essentially. He can do all this powerful, crazy stuff, the strongest man in the universe. So it's kind of like that, like, little boy, like that male power fantasy, which is really cool. Very similar to Shazam, or the real Captain Marvel, if you ask me. Kind of similar there, but... So I did like that. I don't have a problem with it being more geared more towards the youngsters. I have no problem with that regardless. That's how it should be. The problems come in with all the Earth stuff. I'm kind of just like, why? Like, why? I don't care. I don't need it. Just give me He-Man on Eternia fighting Skeletor. I don't need all this Earth stuff. I'm hoping it's not a lot of the movie. I'm hoping maybe it's like the second act, and we spend most of like Act 1 and 3 on Eternia. Here's hoping. The other things, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Teela's look, her costume or whatever. The CGI. Oh, wow. It looks as bad as like current Marvel CGI. And I mean, I get it. They're maybe not going to give it as big of a budget because it is He-Man. It's not something like Marvel or DC or whatever. So they might not want to throw as much money at it. But it is Amazon, MGM, so well, they could do it for sure. So the CG, especially on Cringer, Battlecat, he looks visibly cartoony. All next to everybody else, and I don't like it. And then, of course, being current day Hollywood, we have to get our race swaps in there. So they race swap Man-at-Arms. I've heard it's Idris Elba playing Man-at-Arms, or Duncan, whichever you want to call him. And I'm just like, I like Idris Elba, but can we just stop race swapping everybody? Just give us Man-at-Arms or whatever character the way they're supposed to look. I'm really, really tired. Really tired of all the race swaps. I'm fed up. And I'm sorry for the ways. I'm just kind of, freehand holding this. I didn't feel like, setting everything up to record that way. I'm just kind of sitting in my bed talking. So I didn't like that. And then there is, and I get it. I understand. It's supposed to be a joke. You see Prince Adam at his workstation, and he has on his name plaque the pronouns he/him. And I was like, oh, I get it. He, him, He-Man. But I still rolled my eyes at it because when you've gotten your head beaten over the top with this freaking pronoun thing for like the last decade, it gets to be a bit much. So I'm kind of like, oh god, we're really gonna do this? Even if it's a joke, it's like, cool, yeah, whatever. But okay, did we need it? So, but I'd say for the most part. Oh, and the other thing, kind of like the other thing, even like this is probably the biggest thing in the film. He-Man himself. When we do see He-Man, and and I don't mean this any shade to the actor who played him, because the guy's in good shape, way better shape than I'm in. So I'm on to talk, but he's not big enough, and I don't just mean in size. Yes, He-Man is always meant to be like, now in the original cartoon, it was literally just, they used like the same model because of budget. So Adam and He-Man look the same. But in a subsequently different version of the show, like even in the crappy Kevin Smith sequel in the 2000 show, which I grew up with, they made it, a conscious decision to have Prince Adam and He-Man look physically different. That because they look similar enough where you could almost kind of tell like there was something there, but Adam was much leaner. He wasn't necessarily scrawny, but he was leaner. He wasn't big and bulky. And then He-Man was like ripped. He was like shredded, like massive. And the guy who, when we see him transform into He-Man finally, which I kind of wish they wouldn't have shown in the trailers. I wish they would have saved that for the movie, because that's the whole film right there. The moment he raises the sword, says, "By the power of Grayskull, I have the power." The lightning comes down, and he transforms into He-Man. That's the movie. That's what this whole movie, the whole franchise, that's what it is. That's what this rides on. And I think showing us in any teasers or trailers or whatever was kind of the wrong move, in my opinion. But the way he says it, physically, maybe without the, trailer stuff, we'll find out more. Maybe it'll be different in the film. I don't know, but it just didn't feel big enough. This is supposed to be like very big and over the top, and like I said, like this is the franchise. And it just didn't quite land for me. The outfit itself does look pretty good. Again, I will say, for the most part, aside from Teela, all the costumes, even the characters, you don't really like. There's one shot where you see Trapjaw from behind, and even from behind, like, he looks good. We see Beastman, he looks really good. We see a couple quick shots of Eva Lynn, she looks really good. Skeletor looks amazing. So, like I said, for the most part, the aesthetics they got, but it's just the guy playing He-Man. I just feel like he's not quite big enough. He's not quite muscular enough. Like, He-Man should look like Conan the Barbarian era Arnie big. That's how he should look. Like, as bad as the 87, 86, whatever year that movie came out, as bad as it was, Dolph Lundgren, he had it down. He had the right body type and everything. He looked the part. And this guy, he just, because I was watching it and I kept looking at that, and I saw the stills, saw the trailer, and I'm like, there's something off about this to me. Like, it just doesn't, it's not doing it for me. And then I just watched a other YouTuber I like give his thoughts on the trailer, and he said he doesn't feel big enough for me. And I'm like, that's it. He's not quite big enough, or maybe it's the definition or whatever it is, but that's not quite there for me. But yeah, that's basic thoughts. It's like, I want to be excited for this. I hope it's good, but I've been let down so many times that I'm like, I don't know. But hey, on the bright side, going into this, because I think it comes out in June, so I got a few months to wait. Maybe more trailers will convince me. I don't know. But in my experience, especially recently, if I go into it with my expectations on the floor, and I go and the movie's actually not that terrible, I kind of enjoyed it a little bit more. Like another movie I'm hopefully going to be talking about very soon, which I still need to get around to doing that review. But yeah, those are kind of my quick thoughts. This was a little bit longer than I was hoping it would be, but that's pretty much my thoughts and feelings on the initial teaser trailer. I like more than I didn't like, so I'm kind of like, I don't even want to say cautiously optimistic because I'm scared, guys. I'm scared, but I hope it's good. That's basically how I feel. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments. If you watched it, what do you think? Are you guys fans of He-Man? Like I said, I am. Did you grow up with like the 80s show, the 2000s show? Do you know nothing about He-Man? This would be your first experience to it. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching. If you are so inclined, please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys.